guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be sharing with you which books I'm going to be taking on holiday with me. So on Saturday we are going to Cyprus for 2 weeks, so I'm basically just going to be sitting by the pool, getting a bit of sun, relaxing and reading. So I'm going to talk to you about all the books I'm going to take with me. It's quite an ambitious TBR, but like I said, all I'm going to be doing is relaxing and reading, so I reckon I can get through quite a few of these, and I've got a bit of choice while I'm there as well. I thought I'd also mention as well that I am filming in a new room. So we did a bit of decorating over the summer, and we created sort of like a library in our second bedroom. So I've shifted everything over. I'm in the middle of making a video sort of like documenting the experience, but the room isn't quite finished yet. It still needs some finishing touches, which I want to document as well. So as soon as I finish doing those things, I will be posting that video, so you can all see sort of how I put this new room together. So yeah, I'm filming in a new room, and that's really, really exciting. So I'm going to talk to you first of all about the books that I'm currently reading, because I'm obviously going to be taking those with me so that I can finish off. I'm going to be taking my Kindle with me, and I'm going to be reading a book called The Deep by Nick Cutter. This is a psychological thriller, but it's also been described as a bit of a horror book as well. I'm reading this for the Dying to Read book club, which April started over at Getting Hooked with It. I'll leave details of the Goodreads group below, but it's a group basically where we read psychological thrillers and horror books. And I love a good psychological thriller, but I don't really read a lot of horror, so I thought I'd give some of them a go, and this is the book that they're reading for August. So I've just finished my last Kindle book, so I've put this one up and I'm going to start this on holiday, and then I'll take my Kindle with me anyway, and I've got lots of books on there just in case I need any more choice. I'm also in the middle of reading A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. I'm about 250 pages into this so far. I'm reading this for the Tome Topple, which is going on at the moment. It's a readathon being run by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, and the aim is to read big books, so books that are 500 or more pages. So like I said, about 250 pages into that. Definitely not going to finish it before I go away on Saturday, so I will be taking that with me. And then the other book that I'm reading for the Tome Topple is Kate Morton's The Lake House. This was a bit of a late addition to my TBR, so it didn't make it onto the video that I did. But I'm buddy reading this with Harriet, and I'll link her channel for you as well. We're having a really good time buddy reading it. Again, I'm about 200 pages into that, so again, not going to finish that before Saturday. Really enjoying it. Never read anything by Kate Morton before, and really loving it, so I'll take that with me and finish that one. And then all the other ones I haven't started, I'm not in the middle of, I'm just going to take with me and see what I fancy picking up while I'm there. The first of those is Tin Man by Sarah Winman. I picked up a copy of this a couple of weeks ago when it came out, so this is a spoiler for my August book haul. This came out right at the end of July, and I actually bought it on the day of publication because we were out in town, and I saw it on Waterstones. Yeah, and I've been looking forward to it that I had to pick it up. So this is her newest novel, and I'll read you what it says on the back. It begins with a painting won in a raffle, 15 sunflowers hung on the wall by a woman who believes that men and boys are capable of beautiful things. And there are 2 boys, Ellis and Michael, who are inseparable, and the boys become men, and then Annie walks into their lives, and it changes nothing and everything. So quite a short description, but I've heard lots of people who've had early copies of this say that this is a really good novel, and you know I like Sarah Winman, so I'm so excited about picking this up. This is such a nice naked hardback, and look at the end papers, beautiful. So it's the only hardback I'm taking with me, but because I can't wait to read it basically, so I have to take care of it while I'm away. The next book that I plan on taking with me is Orange Boy by Patrice Lawrence. This is a YA contemporary novel, and I first heard about it when she was doing an event with Angie Thomas in London, but also when she was on the Mostly Lit podcast. and she spoke so well on there that I just had to pick up a copy of her book. So this, I believe, is about a 16-year-old called Marlon who promises his mum he won't go down the wrong path, like his older brother Andre did, but then he finds himself in some trouble. I think it's partly to do with reputation, but yeah, and this won a couple of prizes, as you can see from the stickers on the front, or was nominated for the Costa the Cause anyway. So yeah, this is the only, I think, yeah, this is the only YA book I'm taking with me, so it might be good to pick up when I'm sort of in the middle of a couple of heavier books. Next up is The Unseen World by Liz Moore. I've had this on my shelf for about 6 months now, and I thought it should really finally be time that I read this. This is about a father and his daughter, and the father has Alzheimer's disease, or is just developing Alzheimer's disease, and he is some sort of a scientist or professor, and he leaves a floppy disk behind for his daughter with some sort of a mystery on it. I first heard about this from Reagan over at Peruse Project, who rated it really, really highly when she read it, I think, last year. So yeah, this is sort of like a mystery type novel that I think will be good to take with me. Next up is one that I don't actually have on my Goodreads TBR because it's one of my husband's books, but he's been sort of talking to me quite a bit about picking it up, so I thought I finally would, and the perfect opportunity would be to take it with me on holiday, and that is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. My husband absolutely loves Robin Hobb. She has fast become his favourite author. He started reading her books last year, and I think he's up to book number, I want to say 11 or 12, something like that. Yeah, absolutely loves her, devours her books. This is actually one of her shortest ones. I think it's something like 350, but it's the start of what I believe is her first trilogy, or they say that you should start off with this one. So yeah, I don't really know much about it. I just know that it's epic fantasy and that my husband loves it, and I'm sure I will as well. Then I've got a crime novel, so I'm taking with me The Snowman by Jo Nesbø. This is the only Nesbø book that I currently own that I haven't read, and there are still quite a few out there that I haven't bought yet, but this is the next in his Harry Hole detective series, and I really, really love this series. They're so great. Yeah, just really gripping crime books. A lot of people don't like books from the point of view of a detective, but I really enjoy this series. I haven't really read a lot of other ones like it, and as it's sort of Scandinavian fiction, I think it adds that kind of edge to it. So yeah, this is in the middle of his series. You can sort of read them in whatever order, because translating them and publishing them in the UK, they haven't published them in the order that they're supposed to go, so therefore I haven't read them in the order that they're supposed to go, and the story still makes sense nonetheless. So yeah, you can just jump into these or read them sort of in the order that they're supposed to go, but this is the next one that I've got, The Snowman, and I'm really excited to pick that up. Next up is a literary fiction book that I've had on my TBR for quite a while, and I've heard numerous people talk about it and say it's fantastic, and I thought, well, now is the perfect opportunity to take it on holiday with me and finally read it, and that is Station 11 by Emily St John Mandel. This, I believe, is a post-apocalyptic novel where I think there's been sort of a big plague that has wiped out a lot of the people on Earth, and there's this travelling sort of troupe of actors who are reenacting Shakespeare. Yeah, the Travelling Symphony perform Shakespeare in the settlements that have grown up since the collapse. It says at the bottom, if civilization was lost, what would you preserve, and how far would you go to protect it? And that's quite an interesting concept, the idea of, you know, what would we save, what would we want to be remembered for, or, you know, preserve for the rest of eternity, like that sort of idea. And like I said, everybody who's talked about this has said really great things about it. Then I've got one which I talked about in my mid-year book freakout tag. I think I also put Station 11 in there as well, as being one that I wanted to read in the second half of the year, and I didn't have any historical fiction on my in my TBR for holiday, so I threw it in there, and that is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. I've got both of her novels on my shelf and I haven't read either of them yet. This is set in 1686, so it says, on an autumn day, 18-year-old Nella Ortman arrives at a grand house in Amsterdam to begin her new life as the wife of wealthy merchant Johann Brandt. Though curiously distant, he presents her with an extraordinary wedding gift, a cabinet-sized replica of their home. It is to be furnished by an elusive miniaturist whose tiny creations ring eerily true. As Nella uncovers the secrets of her new household, she realises the escalating dangers they face. The miniaturist seems to hold their fate in her hands, but does she plan to save or destroy them? Yeah, and people talk about Jessie Burton's writing as being really beautiful, and you know, she's a great storyteller, so I'm hoping to really like that one. I thought I'd take a thriller with me, and this one jumped out at me, Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. Again, I've had this on my TBR for quite some time, about 6 months now or something like that. And I thought it was finally time that I read it. I've still got the HBO series recorded on my Skybox, so I don't want to watch it obviously until I've read it. So I've put this on here, and this I believe is set in Australia and revolves around 3 women whose children all go to the same school, and they get kind of caught up in some sort of a mystery. So yeah, I sort of tend to fly through thrillers, so I thought, well, that'd be a good one to sort of, again, sort of a palette cleanser in between some of the heavier ones on my TBR. And then lastly, I've got The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. This has been longlisted for the Man Booker Prize. I talked about this in my long list and announcement video, which I'll link for you. Yeah, and I just thought it would be one to jump into. My husband's really interested in reading this as well, so he'll probably pick this up while we're on holiday too. And this tells the story of a woman who is escaping slavery, and she is taken on the Underground Railroad, which is an actual thing in this novel rather than a metaphor or an illusion. So really looking forward to picking that up. This has won a lot of prizes now and been shortlisted or longlisted for a lot of prizes. So I thought that would be a good, another literary fiction one to try out. That's 11 books plus my Kindle. I mean, I'm currently reading a couple of them, but I don't think there's any sort of way that I'm going to get through all of them. But like I said at the beginning, it's nice to have some choice. I've got room in my suitcase, so why not, basically. Let me know in the comments below whether you've read any of these and what you thought of them, which ones you think I should get to see first when I'm on holiday. I'm planning on doing a little bit of a vlog while I'm away, just to kind of keep you guys in the loop about sort of what I get up to in Cyprus and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure how that's going to go, but we'll see. Yeah, I've pre-filmed a load of videos, so there'll be stuff going up on my channel while I'm away. So yeah, please look out for that. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.